Hello, this is Honey Hachiman talking to you from the past. I am Agent 5 and I need your help. But before I get your help, I am going to read through the original Journeyman Project manual. There is one for Pegasus Prime as well, but I felt like the original one would be a good place to start. So I may have two video uploads. So without further ado, let's take a look here. Yeah. So, the world's first photorealistic adventure game, the Journeyman Project. Yeah. And I think this is fun. The system requirements. Let's see. System requirements. To play the Journeyman Project trademarked, you need a 256 color capable Macintosh 2 family computer with a 13-inch color monitor, at least 8 megabytes of RAM, and a multimedia compatible CD-ROM drive. In addition, your computer must be running System 6.07 or later. For a truly awesome interactive experience, try a dark room and some headphones. I will be using headphones, but dark room is a no-go. Need that for the face tracking. Starting up, important. Before playing the Journeyman Project for the first time, you must install QuickTime version 1.5. If you are already using version 1.5, you do not need to do this. To install QuickTime, insert the Journeyman disk into your CD-ROM drive and open the System Stuff folder. Is that what they called it? Then simply drag the enclosed QuickTime version 1.5 file into your system folder and restart. Upon restarting, it is advisable to disable any unneeded inits as they may interfere with the proper performance of Journeyman. Also, in order for Journeyman Project to work properly, System 7's virtual memory must be turned off, and you must not be running any other applications. On the top level, the Journeyman disk are 3 files marked Journeyman 5 megabytes, Journeyman Point 8 or Journeyman Point 8 megabytes, and Journeyman Point 16 megabytes. To start the game, double-click the Journeyman file, which represents the amount of RAM you have, 5, 8, or 16 megabytes. If you don't have 5, 8, or 16 megs of RAM, double-click the file marked with the number closest to the amount of RAM you have. And thanks. From the gang at Presto Studios, thank you for buying the Journeyman Project. Your contribution has helped to drive interactive software towards its next stage of evolution. At Presto Studios, we believe that the future of entertainment lies in the interactive computer-generated adventures, such as the Journeyman Project. We see the computer as a canvas which allows anyone to experience firsthand those places and things which previously existed only in the imaginations of those who had the vision to dream them. Presto Studios is committed to making this a future reality. Making this future a reality. With your help, we're that much closer. Thank you. So, those system requirements do not necessarily apply to what we're going to be playing. What we're playing is more or less a remaster 2 of the game that came out some years later. It's still very retro by our standards, but this one is the original. And I don't even know if this one's on GOG or if they bothered, because Pegasus Prime is probably the best version of this. So let's get into some lore. Introduction. Our story starts in the skyborn metropolis of Caldoria. In the spring of 2318, the world is at peace, but only as a result of the patience of a people on the verge of self-awareness. The great wars of the 21st century left a bitter taste in the mouths of those involved. They began to realize, though slowly, the self-destructive nature of their actions. As the feeling of world fellowship grew more prevalent, the dictatorial regimes began to crumble one by one. Humanity found itself fully capable of self-government. The power base shifted from the hands of the few to the capable hands of the masses. World unity was soon within sight. Through careful economic and political actions, the unified world was realized in the year 2117. In the years that followed, a feeling of security emerged. Government monies that would otherwise have been spent on national defense were doled out to the needy. Crime diminished greatly. Humanity flourished. No longer needed, the weapons of war sat unused, the memory of their hate-inspiring power fading with each successive generation. Then, in 2185, came an event that changed the focus of mankind's gaze. The pilot of a cargo shuttle bringing building materials to the Morimoto Mars colony project spotted an alien spacecraft from her view window. Soon after the sighting, the ship sped off at light speed towards the outer edge of the solar system. The landing base scanners confirmed and documented the encounter, and the existence of intelligent alien life forms had been proven. Throughout the following century, the last great frontier expanded outward at an incredible rate. Cities began to appear on Mars, and colonies were constructed on the moons of planets as far out as Saturn and Neptune. While many of these settlements were built as research stations for space exploration, most were built to alleviate the burden of an ever-swelling population on Earth. Construction moved in the only available direction, upward. The development of gravity-neutralizing technology made it possible to build entire cities far above the Earth's surface. Caldoria, the first of the Skyborn cities, was officially dedicated in the year 2300. 8 years later came the first formal contact with an alien race. Earth was visited by aliens who called themselves the Cyrolans. The purpose of the visit was to invite humanity to join the symbiotree of peaceful beings, an alliance of intelligent beings whose objective is to benefit from the sharing of knowledge and culture. The Cyrolans said that they would give us 10 years to deliberate their proposal, after which time they would send a delegation of individuals to meet with our representatives in order to extend a more formal invitation. Now, on the eve of humanity's transcendence to the heavens, has come an invention that jeopardizes all of our hard-won advances. Time travel was originally hailed as a gateway to our past, but the people soon realized that in the wrong hands, this technology could be more dangerous than any weapon ever created. For this reason, the government formed the elite guard known as the Temporal Protectorate. As a member of the Temporal Protectorate, it is your job to safeguard history from sabotage. You monitor the space-time continuum from the Temporal Security Annex, a top-secret installation where lies the Pegasus, the only time machine known to be in existence. But so long as the technology to create such a machine exists, the threat remains. Now let's look at the borders here. Below introduction, the picture of a CG city is Caldoria, the first of the Skyborn cities, and of course we've got the logo at the bottom. I'll turn myself away. Is the Morimoto Mars colony. The Morimoto Mars colony, established in 2190, was constructed over an abandoned mining settlement. And let's get back. All right. And then our picture of humankind's first alien contact in 2308. And the Temporal Security Annex was built in 2315 as a safety measure against historical sabotage. And that's our logo. We are Agent 5. And Agent 5 will have a mission. So then we get to the interface. The biotech interface model SL1777, or I can read numbers, SL1772.5R, is the central element of a Temporal Protectorate agent's ensemble. The interface takes the form of a monocle, which covers the left eye, and creates a multifunctional window through which the agent sees the world. A neuroprosthetic attachment allows the SL1772.5R to monitor matters concerning the agent's welfare and provide feedback when necessary. For example, the pop-out screen to the left of the main view window might alert the agent of a sudden decline in health status or a potentially dangerous situation. The energy indicator warning light at the top right of the interface provides a quick reference for the agent's general energy status. See the suit on page 7. Just below the view window are the inventory controls and the recall button. The biotech interface simplifies the task of keeping records on the objects an agent obtains by cataloging all inventory items and monitoring their use. To get information about an inventory item, a Temporal Protectorate member need only scroll to the desired object and click on the Inspect button to the right of its name, or double-click on the name itself. To use an object, an agent must once again scroll to the item, and then simply drag its picon over the object in the main view window on which it is intended to be used. A single click on the inventory item's picon lets the agent use it on him or herself. The button to the right of the inventory window is the recall button. This button tells Pegasus to pull the agent back to the present from another time zone. The recall button is marked with the Temporal Security Annex logo for easy identification in a moment of crisis. The unit below the right-hand side of the biotech interface contains movement. Biotech interface contains movement buttons and the biochip panel. The up and down arrow buttons allow the agent to move forward and backward, while the left and right arrows turn the agent left and right, respectively, to indicate which direction has been pressed. The movement buttons light up and remain lit until the agent can move again. At the top of the interface is a digital compass which lets the agent know which way he or she is facing. Let's see, is there any more on this page? No, that's it on that page. So then we have a breakdown. That's a way to give a basic tutorial on your interface. Looking at our guy who's kind of giving a kissy face in the upper left. The biotech interface is a monocular neuroprosthesis which provides instant access to information regarding the agent's welfare, inventory, location, and so forth. On the right we do have what is... I think the interface probably looks a little different in Pegasus Prime, but this is how it looked when playing Project Turbo as a kid. Let's see. Biotech Interface Model SL 1772.5R. We've got the energy on the upper left. We've got a digital compass in the middle. The date display in the upper right. An energy indicating warning light. We have a window. The recall button, as described. That's the Temporal Protectorate's logo. We have the artificial intelligence module. Inventory controls, and the chip bank on the very bottom, and our movements on the bottom right. We also have the biochip display panel. Alright, the biochip panel allows the SL 1772.5R to have a multitude of functions, with the flexibility to add more as needed. Biochips are microcomputer chips commonly found in utility droids and neural implant devices. Each biochip provides instructional information for a specific task. Functions of biochips include spatial mapping, data storage, walking algorithms for the handicapped, and so forth. The bank to the left of the movement buttons the biotech interface's biochips can be activated by opening the chip bank to the left of the movement buttons and then clicking on the desired chip. Once a chip is activated, a display panel specific to that chip slides up into the view and becomes active. However, because there is only one display panel, only one biochip can be used at a time. While only the interface biochip is standard issue, the Pegasus and mapping biochips become available to the agent on duty when a temporal rip is detected. Truly the future, you can only run one thing at a time. So the machine. We'll start with the side here. Being the first machine capable of transcending time, Pegasus is now used by the Temporal Protectorate to guard against historical sabotage. In layman's terms, the Particle Accelerating Space-Time Transporter version 1 is a time machine, also known as Pegasus. This machine is able to send an agent through a tunnel in the space-time continuum to any moment in history. For security reasons, however, Pegasus has been programmed to allow agents to travel only to the location of any detected temporal rip, or to a time 200 million years in the past. That's your alternative? Only to where there's a temporal rip, or 200 million years in the past. Yo, so, like, real talk? If you're gonna mess with the past, I think that, like, 200 million years in the past might be a little more concerning than any other, like, individual point in history of, like, human history. Let's see. So, to a time 200 million years in the past where a disk containing the known history of the world has been planted. Ah, gotcha. So it's a backup. Known history of the world has been planted. This disk is meant to serve as a reference tool in case history should be altered. See the disk, page 8. The particle acceleration process creates an excess of energy, which Pegasus stores for use in maintaining a homing signal, or lock, on the agent. The further back in time the agent travels, the more energy Pegasus needs to expend to maintain the lock. In addition, any use of the biosupport suit's protective features constitutes a further drain on this energy supply. See the suit on page 7. In order for an agent to return to the present, there must still be a small amount of energy left for the recall process to work. Otherwise, the agent could become stranded in the past. The counter at the top left of the interface's main window lets the agent know how much energy remains. So, looking at the suit, that's some art. I did do an approximation in Vroid Studio for myself, but yeah, it's nowhere near as, like, muscular augmented as that. Like, that's power armor. I'm more or less wearing a stealth suit. But close enough. I've got the Temporal Protectorate logo, and I do have Agent 5 on me, so take it or leave it. Alright, the biosupport suit acts as an environmental bubble. For a limited span of time, it can shield an agent from outside dangers or compensate for harmful physiological conditions. The biosupport suit is another integral part of a Temporal Protectorate agent's gear. This protective suit projects an invisible plasma shield that repels most forms of energy, including photon and radioactive energies, and even repulses isotropic residues that normally collect on an agent during time travel. Without the shield, these residues could conceivably be used by someone with the proper technology to track an agent in another time. The suit has also been designed to compensate for unusual biological conditions. For example, if the agent were in an extremely cold environment, the suit would generate warmth to prevent freezing. All of the suit's protective functions, however, require a great deal of energy. Pegasus stores excess energy created during the particle acceleration process for this reason, but this limited supply is only enough to support the suit's protective functions for a short while. And looking at our parts on the upper right here, just looking at the preview, I don't think you can see my mouse. So we have from the top to the bottom, we have the monocular neuroprosthesis biotech implant. Looks like the Scouter. Yep. Thermoregulating tubes. Okay. Impact compensation coils. Okay, so like these synthetic muscles and the tubes on the outside are pretty much protective. We have, just in the belly here, the energy field regulating power transformer. And then on the belt, pretty much on the hips, is the inventory storage compartments. We have more tubes for body fluid processing. And then on the forearms, we have the sensory amplification couplings, and marked on the knee, but presumably other parts as well, the exoskeletal armor plating. Neat. We're also going to look at the disk. This thing stored 200 million years in the past. Seems to be their safeguard of comparing comparing current data to what we know as our true history. The disk, with a bunch of exclamation points in red. An agent has no chance for restoring the proper flow of history without first comparing the unaltered Journeyman log to its altered counterpart in order to learn the source of the temporal rip. We can also see next to the image, computer-generated personas compare an altered and unaltered historical log. Alright. The Journeyman Historical Log Disk is a compilation of news articles and historical accounts chronicling all of known history. Each day, all news stories worldwide are automatically collected at the Temporal Security Annex, and 2 new historical logs are pressed. One remains in the historical log computer in the Temporal Security Annex, and the other is brought back to 200 million years in the past, where it is stored as a security measure. I wonder how often they do that. Like how often they swap out the history disk. Seeing as it's such like a security breach to actually go there. If history should be deliberately changed, the disk which has been placed in the distant past will not be updated with the new version of history, as it exists at a point in time prior to any probable change. The disk which is still at the Temporal Security Annex, on the other hand, will be updated with the altered version of history. That makes sense. Therefore, if a rip in time is detected, the agent on duty can recover the log which has been placed in the past as a source of unaltered historical information. Once the agent has returned to the Temporal Security Annex, with the accurate log disk and has inserted it into the empty historical log drive, the computer will compare it to the Journeyman log disk, which was left in the present and subsequently altered, by cross-referencing the date of the rip to the discrepancies found between the 2 logs. The computer will be able to isolate the changed event. A computer-generated persona will then read the correct and altered versions of this event to the agent. We also have TSA codes, Temporal Security Annex, not to be mistaken for another U.S. agency. The following codes are needed to gain access to restricted areas and files within the Temporal Security Annex. I feel like we will be referencing the manual if these come up. Temporal Security Annex entry code 6894895, Background Theory and Procedure Monitor Access code 0524133, and Historical Reconfiguration code 0291384. We have our keyboard commands. Those are controls. We'll skip. Interestingly, this is an adventure game for all intents and purposes, and there is a score. Scoring. Your final score is based on several factors. Among these are the restoration of the time zones, the number of times you jump to a time zone, the fewer the better, and the amount of energy you have left upon completing a time zone. In other words, if you speed run this, you're going to get a better score. Speed run and efficiently. An agent of the Temporal Protectorate will resort to violence only if there is no way around it. Therefore, you will be given bonuses for choosing the peaceful solution to each time zone, and an additional Gandhi bonus if all zones are completed non-violently. Alright, good to know. So, real talk, I was considering, when I would upload this, because I was wondering, how much of, the game it would talk about stuff. And this does seem like it is an employee manual, so actually I think it might make for a decent episode 0, and I will try to upload that before leaving for work today. Let's see. To give you a better understanding of the process that went into creating the Journeyman Project, here's a peek behind the scenes of Presto Studios. We're past the employee manual. The game's creation began with a rough story concept, multiple revisions of the original storyline led to a final script and gameplay summary. From this summary, quick conceptual sketches were drawn, followed by final drawings which showed the objects from several views. In the lower left, we have some documents. Come on, get out of the way. Surely I can get out of the way, right? Stream Deck, move me. Okay, maybe my current scene doesn't have a... It should have a scene. Oh, scene 4 was what I was at. That's what's up. Okay. Yeah, in the lower left, we have clowning around in a pool on top of several documents. We also have machinery and a mechanical arm. And then we have the same mechanical arm on a track. And then we have a robot. Oh, we actually have numbers and pop-outs for what they are. So on the bottom left, once again, getting out of the way, the clowning around in the pool, is storyline concepts, gameplay, and brainstorming. And part 2 there, the first one with the machinery, is the subdock environment. And instead of me just calling it whatever I want, we have the robot loading arm for number 3 on the track. Number 4 is the Ares robot sketch. And then 5 is the robot head variations. 6 is the sub-schematic, whatever that is. And then 7 is the sub-sketch. All right, we do have a few more pages left, so what is here? Okay, so, yeah, we're definitely still talking production here, but it's interesting that they saw fit to put that in the manual. Let's get out of the way. Column 1 here is detailed 3D models were then created based on the multiple views of each object. And 2, which is the second column here, is next, elaborate texture, bump, and transparency maps were added to all of the models. Man, I'm trying to remember what the last game or graphics thing that I messed with that used bump files. All right. 3, and that's the column with all the pictures. Once the entire environment was modeled, test rendering was begun to confirm object placement. And then 4, which is the bottom image, animations were then choreographed and lighting was set up for final renderings. 5, which is the top picture of a suit of some kind. At this point, the renderings went through a touch-up process where shadows and other details were manually added, the color levels adjusted, and the bit depth reduced to 8-bit system palette. 6, which is the first table there. The final images were then brought into the main program shell. 7 and 8. So we have the code, like low resolution coding window, and then we have in the upper right we have the man with the beard and a very intense face. Let's no, I don't really want to mess with my zoom. I had to set it up before this, but yeah, that's an intense face. Maybe we'll revisit him at the end. Here are the environments, QuickTime movies, and animations were assembled, and the complicated interface codes written. And 9, the last image there. Finally, sound effects and mood music were scored to match each environment and animation segment, in a process similar to that used in professional film productions. Over 1,600 different views were created and used as a basis for hundreds of overlaid animations. This entire production process took more than 15,000 man-hours of work. Man, that's some dedication. Let's see. Okay, we have credits and the Presto Fan Club, corporate support from Apple Computer, Broadcast Images, Club Mac, COSA, F2, High Res Audio, Hollywood Sound, Interactive Media Agency, Can-Do, Macromedia, Pixel Relations, Radius, Specular International, and West LA Music. So, of those, I think Apple Computer is like the one that I still know exists. All right. Oh, hey, about Presto. All right, we do have names. Presto Studio is a team of developers who were raised in the age of science fiction, computers, and video games. Most of the group has been involved in all three of these things, seemingly since birth. Additionally, each member brings to the team experience in a different media field. Together, they have knowledge of design, music, writing, 2D and 3D graphics, and animation, programming, video, and CD-ROM production. It is only natural, then, that this group of friends has come together to focus their creativity on a project that combines their abilities with their personal interests. Stay tuned. Let's see. Yeah, that's licensing. That's not interesting. We'll go back here. I do want to emphasize this guy. See how much we can zoom. 500% zoom. And then we'll get over here. Yeah, this guy. Can we get further? 500 is the most we can do. But 8. I think that might be the. I don't know if that's. Yeah, that's not costume. That is motion capture stuff on him. Huh. Interesting. So, I will put this up as episode 0. There is a second manual, and it is for the actual game I will be playing. So Pegasus Prime. I don't know how much the manual changed over the. Did they have a year on this? For the original? Let's get back to our 250. Oh yeah, we also have the Temporal Protectorate as the last one. Temporal Protectorate Handbook. Supplemental, so this must be the back cover. Temporal Protectorate Handbook. Supplemental information, classified, code alpha. Neat stuff. Yeah, let's see if we could get a year, maybe on the licensing here. 1992. I know that Pegasus Prime was listed on GOG as 1997. So this is 5 years before the game that we will actually be playing. But yeah, I think I'll do a second video, but it won't be up before the first episode for the Pegasus Prime manual. But yeah, this has been cool. I think that I will. I don't have a thumbnail made, but I'll make one just using this screen here. But until episode 1, I'll end it here. So see you all later. Yes, see you all later. Bye.